field with a global reach. And thanks for tuning in to Out of Bounds with T Rex. I'm your host. Tonight, we're going to talk about the incident that happened in Memphis and some of the details that we heard on Fox News. But before we get to that, let's bring in our people, the crew. There's only two of them tonight, but they're special because they're ladies. Come on in, ladies.
Hey, Terry.
Hey,
T-Rex.
how you doing?
Good. Happy to be with the
Right.
people as always. Happy Sunday.
Yeah. Happy Sunday. Okay.
Hey,
Hey, Andrea, what you up
hey,
to?
hey, family. Nice to see you.
Nice to
Hi,
see y'all guys
Darla.
too.
Hey, friend.
Okay. Presentation is not working. I tried to do it. Hold on a second. I'm trying to do this new thing. I'll get right back to you guys. Presentation, upload. Let's Oh, it's crazy. Okay, we got training on that plus sign, guys. But anyway, let's talk about something serious tonight. I'd like to ask you guys a basic question. What is your opinion of the incident that happened in Memphis? Don't talk about what the guy said on Fox News. That'll be our second part. Uh, the police officers. I was really shocked, but before I give my opinion, I like to hear what you ladies have to say. Just chime in when you're ready.
I'm sad by it. I'm sad that this is something that keeps happening, within our community.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely heartbroken for the family of Tyre Nichols. Um, it's almost at the point where we don't have no more words, right? Like, how many more I'm sorries and condolences do we have for Black people and those who have been victims of police brutality? I didn't watch the video or anything like that. I've heard some audio, and when I heard the audio, I just fast forward through it because it's
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking. And it's every couple months we get back into the same cycle of police brutality and for Black people,
Yes.
and it makes it even more sad to me. Um, when as more details come out, finding
Mm-hmm.
out that it happened, period, then it's Black
Oh,
officers,
yeah,
then
that's
it's
even worse.
Black
But
officers of unmarked vehicles. You know what I mean? It just gets sadder and sadder the more details come out.
I agree. I agree. What you got on that, darling?
I feel similarly to Drea. I also did not watch the entirety of the video. I watched very little of it. As I've said many times, I'm not an avid news watcher. And it's often, my reasoning behind that is because of how often things like this happen. Um, I start to get very involved with stories like this because I want to know why did this happen. You find out it's officers on a Black man. I'm even more perplexed. What happened here that this man had to lose his life? And then if you let his family tell it, they're talking about he was just taking pictures of the sunset. I don't understand what happened, and it's just tiresome to hear over and over again, like Drea said. So it's a hard topic.
Well, you know, growing up in a city like Memphis, I grew up in Toledo, Ohio. We always had a saying about police officers is when you got pulled over by a police officer or stopped, however you want to say it, and one was white and one was Black, the Black officer would beat you more than the white officer for respect. And I think in this
Wow.
situation, that what I saw, it was simply they just I didn't understand it all. They traffic stopped him. I watched the video. They traffic stopped him, and he just asked, "What did he do?" They didn't ask for any. They said any information, just get on the ground. Then they start tasing him. I think what pissed the officers off the most is that he outran them. He got up off the ground and I mean left them in dirt. So I don't know how they caught up with him later, but um, I do know that it was more than those five officers on the scene at the time because you could see them in the background, and it was a white officer. I'm not just saying white because I'm trying to include them in this instance. No, I'm just saying that you could tell he was white, and all because his hands was actually in his in the video of the cam. All I can say to this is it's a tragedy, and I think that Memphis, in a whole, should reevaluate its police officers. Uh, I truly believe, and this is just my experience with police officers, not my friends, but the ones that actually pull
Mhm.
over, is that they get a little pissed off when you outrun them, because now you looking at them bad. And he was in his 20s and they were in their 20s and 30s and they couldn't catch him. So uh, I just think it's the same shame it happened, especially over what he asked. The question was, "What do I do?" And I don't
Mhm.
understand. I mean, I see this. I don't know if y'all watch a lot of these videos, but I do. When the police officers pull over anybody, you don't think you did something wrong. The first question that young black men always ask is,
What
"What
did
did
I
I
do?
do?" You know, and I think police officers should be able to tell you what you did instead of being angry and saying, "Leave me alone," or just shut up, get on the ground, or do what I want. I think they need to understand that people have rights and they need to adjust those rights. And that young man in Memphis' rights was really civil rights, and his personal rights was definitely violated by the police officers. So anything else? Well, I mean, I got a lot I could talk about on it. I just think it's a tragedy,
Well, you said
and
the police get a little pissed off when they run, and I'm thinking a little pissed off is we detain you, we book you
Mhm.
and take you down,
mhm.
and process you. A little
Well, I
pissed off,
mean, yeah.
is maybe they tase him, but to he lost his life. I'm thinking
Mhm.
with 5 police officers
Right.
on top of one man,
Right.
Yeah.
that's more than a little pissed off. That's a problem. I don't
Uh,
understand what could he have done that would have warranted that.
Unfortunately, that's the blue game. I just have to be honest. A lot of people don't want to say, "Oh, this is a isolated incident." It's not. It happens all the time. The ones that normally hit the news are the white officers. Just so
Right.
happened they killed this young man. They even kidnapped him. And said that, you know, why are you going to kidnap somebody that you're supposed to be taking to the at least to the hospital where you beat him?
Right.
So
Right.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Well,
It's a shame.
well, it makes you wonder too, and I'm sure all of this will come out as the investigation and all that happens in the next weeks and months. But it makes you wonder what these 5 officers' background is like in other stops and their other behaviors while they're on the job. This is the one that we were able to see and that made the news, like you talked about, Terry. But what about those other cases that didn't make the news, or have there been other complaints against these 5 other officers? I was listening to this news show earlier this morning, and they were talking about like this is a problem within the police department, right? Not just Memphis, it could be
Right.
LA, Detroit, no matter where you go. And they're like, we need better policing, we need better practices. But there's what, 18,000, 20,000 different cities that have police departments, so it's a matter of training, but everybody is policing different ways. So how do we get everybody on one accord? Because you have large cities like LA, and then
Mhm.
you have smaller cities like a hole in the wall, Mississippi. I don't know. So how are we
Yeah.
all policing the same? But at the end of the day, there should be a sense of humanity in how you treat individuals, whether they're speeding, have a bad tail light, no matter what. Because this situation even made me think about Philando Castillo, when
Yeah.
he got pulled over and he's telling the officers, I have
Right.
a weapon. And then he lost his life even after being honest of what was happening in his car. And then you have this other
Had a weapon. It
individual,
was
yeah, who gets pulled over and
use of
wants to
force
know
violence.
why.
Well, I just this has been a problem of mine for a lifetime because I've always tried to understand why police officers do what they do. And I'm not going to say it's a gang mentality. I just think that most people that want to be police officers are authoritarians, or they went to high school and they were little wimps, we'll call them. And now that they have a badge and a gun, they have power over people. And I truly believe, and this is probably going to come out kind of strange from my mouth because y'all know me, is that they should have police, individual police departments should not have their own rules. They should be federal rules so that even an officer that was there that didn't participate can be still continued as against the law. Because what happens in your case, what you said, Andrea, with the big cities and the small cities, they have two different things, and then they try to put their local law into play to save them. And I truly believe that police departments all over America is falling because uh, uh, we do not police all in the same way. I mean, this young man was from another state, came, they pulled him over for reckless driving, and he asked what was wrong. What did I do? Just tell a person what's wrong with
Right.
giving people courtesy, and I just think the police department doesn't do that.
Yeah. And
I really
wouldn't
don't.
you, the both of you, wouldn't you be intimidated if five officers came out?
Yes.
You know?
Two. One.
It's scary. I mean, especially if you. I hate to say it because I can't speak for other people in other races, but as a black man, even as a mature black man, it's scary when they pull you over because you don't know who you're getting. You don't know if you're getting Officer John or some crazy guy.
Hmm.
That's just the way it is. So you have to be prepared for that. And unfortunately, um, at night, being alone without a camera or phone on, you're basically setting yourself up for a lot of hurt and disbelief, like that young man. He did whatever he was doing, taking pictures or whatever, reckless driving, whatever. Reckless driving wasn't worth his life.
Right.
That's all I have to say. And the beating that they put on that young man, uh, I, all I can say is, if, I hope to God that doesn't happen to me because I'll be in the penitentiary. They wouldn't. That movie would. In Shaft, when the mom shot the white guy when he came out of the courtroom, exactly what I would do. I
Hmm.
don't think neither one of those police officers, the five that was in it, and the ones that were there, should be free. They all should go to jail. Memphis should send out a serious, serious um, message to all police officers, especially in that city.
So
So,
did you guys, after the
You know,
videos came out, what was that, Friday night? Did you guys
mhm.
expect there to be more chaos and more rioting like we saw with George Floyd? Did you guys anticipate any of that?
I, I
I
I
thought
thought it would
it
be
was interesting we had as much as we did because it was black on black. The writing tends to be
Mm.
about racial.
Hmm.
People are upset because he lost his life. That's a
mhm.
tragedy. Times the heightened writing or the heightened thing in the atmosphere to do with race relations.
Hmm.
Well, now that part, I don't agree because it happens in different varieties. I mean, they had some protests in Memphis, and they had, I think they said, I'm not for sure, I didn't see it, but someone said it was a protest in LA. And I just believe people are tired of it. And when I say people, I'm not talking about black people.
Yeah.
I think white people are tired of it. I think everybody's tired of the inhuman things that they do to people that let them make themselves like they're better than they actually are. They're police officers. They are there to protect and serve, not to just walk up on somebody and murder them and then go,
Hmm.
oh, and then to kidnap them and then beat them to death. That's just a little outrageous. And I think Memphis really needs to probably fire all their police officers and start all over. That's
Well,
what I
I'll
think.
tell you, I'm tired of hearing the phrase a few
I
bad
agree.
apples. And
Yeah.
every time this comes up, like, oh, it's a few bad apples. We got a lot of bad apples. Everybody's a bad apple at this point.
That's what I'm talking
You
about.
know,
Got a lot of
when these
worms in
things,
them apples.
yeah, like at this time right now, like let's look at all of these departments, these institutions of protecting and serving, and pull out all the bad apples because we know that they're there, right? But then when something like this happens,
Very true.
oh, it's just two or three bad apples. No, there's a ton of bad apples.
Yes. I think we lost Darla. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing there. I just believe that because there's not enough police in the police, that's what we're into. And then you got, I mean, this is really crazy. You got the internal, what they call police officers, that internal, not internal revenue, but whatever they call it, internal police officers that police the police, and they let them go. So, I mean, the kids used to call the police the blue gang. And I believe that. I still believe that to this day. So with that said, hold on a second. Let me say something. I was just going to give a station break. Hold on, darling. Thank you for tuning in to TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, darling. Oh, darling froze.
She's very beautiful frozen. Even she looks great.
She
got a good time.
Good frozen. Well, let's move. Let's get off the police department and let's talk about the black guy that was on Tucker Carlson. I just saw his name. Let's see if I can pull it back up. His name was Jason Whitlock. Anyway, when you go on to Fox News on Tucker Carlson, most of the time you're not going to talk positive about black people anyway. So, what did y'all think of that conversation that you saw on Tucker Carlson's show?
I didn't watch it, so you have to.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
For that,
yeah.
I've heard about it.
Basically, I mean, it was on the thing there. It was he was blaming the whole thing on single parent black women raising their black children. And that to me has always been a key with Fox News, with the Tucker guy. It always has to be about race, and they always bring some sellout onto the show to re-emphasize what they're talking about. I have no doubt in my mind that there are people out there that are raised by single parents, black, white, purple, I don't care, that are great people. I don't think that has anything to do with it. And then he had to say, and then I'll wait for your comment on this, it was because that Memphis has a female police chief. So my question is, other than this idiot saying these things, is he really hating on black women?
I feel like it was a very misogynistic statement to suggest that a woman cannot lead men. And I think that's the core of the statement that I understand that he made, that women cannot lead men. And it reminds me of, things that are said in church and in households. And it just is very misogynistic, more so than racist. I do not agree. I think that, leadership is leadership. I think there's an inherent problem with how we police. And what I was going to say earlier is it's ironic because I was just Googling some things today, and America, or the USA, comes up as one of the top 10 best police countries, with the best countries with the best policing system. I was surprised that we even made the list with all the challenges. Yeah, and guess where we land? Guess where we land? In 1 through 10, the top 10.
Who?
We were at number 6, right behind Japan. Yeah.
What, racism?
So we weren't in the top 5, but we're in the top 10 best countries with the best policing system. So I was very surprised to see us rank so highly amongst other countries. The best country was England.
Well, I can speak on England. I've been there. They don't carry weapons. They just carry, and plus the English people don't have to run. I mean, they don't run away. I just think that anybody who can sit there and say that because, first of all, and not because there's women on the show, but first of all, everybody has a mother. Okay. Black, white, green, purple, I don't care. Now, your mother does lead that family 24/7, because nights at work if there's a dad in the house or if there's not a dad in the house. So I don't believe that, especially, and I'm going to say this honestly, I don't believe that any black woman leader. And I'm not saying that. I look at my mom and how my dad was Army, so he was gone a lot. And that was my stepdad. And I look at how my mother stepped up and made sure everything was done exactly the way it was supposed to be done. So to say that black women can't lead men, that's a lie. That's a lie. We all have mothers. I think the problem with uh, society is they want to believe that. And I just don't believe. Now, I have a lot of problems with society and black women, but as far as leaders, black women are very, very strong, and everybody had a big mama, so everybody knows what to do. So I'm
Well,
sorry. Go ahead, Lady.
you're only as strong as the people you lead. And he's
That's,
only looking at one incident, assumingly, he's only looking at one incident where the chief is a woman. But
mhm.
we have black mayors, we have black judges, we have black council people. So are you going to say that all of these people are not capable because it may be a black woman? Like the race really and gender have really nothing to do with it.
Well, I just believe that he was just trying to emphasize that single black women can't raise a black man, and
Mhm.
I don't believe that. I
Oh,
just
it's
don't
not
believe.
true.
I
It's
don't believe.
definitely not true. And it goes
I don't
back to
believe.
like you said, we all have mothers, and
Yeah.
you know, or even if you didn't have a great mother, you there was still some type of woman who played some type of lead role in your life.
That's for sure. Big Mama was always there.
Right.
I don't care what nobody say, but I just think that when you go on Tucker Carlson's show, basically, it's to blast. I've only heard now. I mentioned this show because one time I watched another Fox show, and I have to say this: it wasn't anything like Tucker. They didn't attack people. They didn't put out there that will have, I call them sellouts. Somebody said coon. Uh, uh, Whatever you call him, don't call him Uncle Tom, because Uncle Tom was supposed to be a good guy from my word in history. That's next week. We'll talk about that. But I just think that, and you have to respect another black man. And apparently, I'm not going to name any for sorority fraternities and nothing like that. But apparently, out of the five, at least three, I'm sorry, at least it was six, I think. I think four of them had some type of college background. I don't know if they graduated or not. So that put them at a higher level of not being a better person, higher level of learning where they knew how to deal with people
Hmm.
outside of the police, what they trained police officers to do. They should have had that when they were in college, how to deal with other people. Everybody took it was an interpersonal communication in class where you have to learn how to deal with people. So I don't understand what the big problem is with these people. So I don't
Well,
know.
I heard that the way Canada trains their police officers has resulted in the types of problems that we're discussing right now with USA police. Those types of problems have been significantly reduced. So that's why I was looking around on the internet, because I wanted to see, could I locate, I did not, but I wanted to see, could I locate the article that specifically discussed that. But I did, in the article, I found that discussed the top 10 countries. It's
Mhm.
something called the Wonder List. It does say that they have really specific training colleges that were developed that enable the officers to undergo like an advanced and specialized development program. And they have to have certain leadership skills to go in, and that it prepares them for dealing with reality rather than the made up stories that people have about people, the communities that they police. And then they have things laid out to the trainee officers of what's expected of them in their field. And it creates a more realistic approach that they
Mhm.
can utilize when they're dealing with the community. And it has, I guess, ultimately reduced a lot of the heinous activity that we're witnessing in our communities today.
Hmm.
So I'm curious to do a
Well,
little bit more research to understand why other countries are faring better than we are, or seem to be faring better than we are. And I think that I heard that the research that it should impacted shooting and this type of violence that we're talking about today. So we need to do something different. That's for darn
Right.
sure.
first we need to educate the media. It seemed like uh, media is the biggest outlet of this. and they're in such a hurry to get the story out first. They go whatever they get. They don't have the background of the story. And then I've noticed a lot, if they do say something wrong on the front page or on TV, when they give them the apology, it's very small, and the rest of the world doesn't see that apology. I just believe in America, we send billions of dollars. I'm stuck on these billions of dollars we've been sending to Ukraine. Not that it's not a good cause, but we send billions of dollars out of this country, and we still cannot educate our police officers. We still cannot educate our civil servants that are supposed to be here to help us and to make us feel safe. And I don't know. I mean, I tell my son at night, if the police pull him over, stick his hands out the window, cut all the lights on. And I think that's the part that white America doesn't have to experience, because they never have to have that talk. And then when you put an idiot on Tucker Carlson's show saying these things, all it does is it just reinforces to his audience that black people are just savages and we kill each other. Right. Because if you always notice, when it's a white, if that had been the George Floyd thing, they always said right away, well, maybe they had a reason for it. Maybe he was fighting back. Maybe then when they saw the video, they came out, didn't say anything. They was like, oh, it's a tragedy. But they didn't retract none of what they said about negativity, about black people getting pulled over. And that's the problem. And I think that this might sound crazy, but I think they need to be more police officers that are females on the force, and so that they can get away from the bullying of the men. I don't know what I don't understand police officers to this day. I call them overseers from the slave days. All they're there to do is enforce the law. They don't care if they're right or wrong. They just want to beat somebody, shoot somebody, or harass somebody. That's basically it. So,
but is this a male, a female, or a leadership issue? I say that rhetorically because I really believe it's a leadership issue. And what you just said reminds me of when I was in my leadership program, my doctoral program. We had this exercise called the monkey, and it's a story. I'm going to try to recall it, but the monkey case is a story of you have 5 monkeys, and you put a banana in the middle of the room. You may have heard it. I don't know. But put a banana in the middle of the room. First monkey tries to go get the banana, and then somebody sprays the monkeys down with water. Next monkey goes, until after a while, they learn not to touch the banana. Then they take one monkey out of the room, put another monkey in the room, and repeat the situation. And inevitably what ends up happening is the monkeys start to beat the other monkey, saying, don't go for the banana because you're going to get sprayed down with water. And so your example of we need to have more females on the police force makes me think of all the TV shows I've watched where females are treated even worse, and they're inducted in such a way that they're taught to follow the rules and stay close to that blue line, because the leadership issue is at stake. They're not able to come in and use their female energy or woman or what they know is right as an individual or what have you, because they're going to get beat down by all the other monkeys saying, don't you dare touch that banana, because that's not how we do things around here. I think it has to start from who spraying the water, who put the banana there.
And that's what the guy on Fox News was talking about. He was talking about leadership. And he emphasized, first he said single mother. So I don't know if the police officer is a single mother, the police chief, I'm sorry. And then he said, being single black men and a black woman being a leader, that's just distasteful in my mouth, letting them understand that black women can't lead. I see it every day. I see it in you guys when we go places, and what you do for a career. I see it all the time in what black women do. So I don't see why a black man, I can't even call him a brother, would go on a predominantly racist show and say some stupid stuff like that. All that does is feed the white people that watch that show. That's all it does. Calls you, ignorant and all that. So, it's about our time. So I'm going to get real quick. What do you two have to say real quick? Then we'll go on and then I close us out. Go ahead, Dara. What you got? Oh, go ahead, Andrea. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to, lift up the family in prayers. And I definitely hope that this is the last time we have to have a discussion on this issue, or hoping, that we don't continue to see police brutality in our community. I don't want to see a GoFundMe and, donate to families, because this
Oh
is
yeah,
something that shouldn't be happening.
that's true. Darla?
Yeah, I agree with Andrea. Um, I'm just a really big believer in, and this extends to so many areas, not just the one we're talking about. But do what you know is right. Just do the right thing, and don't stand, because there were 5 officers. 5. What would have happened had just one of them tried to do the right thing? One of them, might he still be alive today? So
Mhm.
try to do the right thing and let that impact others, rather than what we keep seeing happening, which is the wrong thing impacting the whole entire group and the way they try to do the right
Well,
thing, be the change.
I agree with both of you guys. I think the biggest problem that we have in change is not the education. I'm sure the education is there. I think it's the actual practice that has the problem. They teach you something in the classroom, then you get out on the street and you do whatever you want to do because you're the man, and I don't care. All I can say is for black people that get on Tucker Carlson's show, uh, don't act like you are an expert on black people,
Right.
because you might know one or two, but you don't know everybody. And I'm 100% sure, and I don't know everybody, but there are some strong black women out there. We're gonna talk about a few of them next month in Black History. So I know there are some sharp black women out there that are doing amazing jobs. Don't have to go farther than look in the vice president. So with that said, thank you, ladies, for coming on tonight. I know we had a short week, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in to TAAN TV, the American Network, where we have a local feel. And this is Out of Bounds with T-Rex and the ladies. So my last words out to everybody is goodbye. God bless the family. And I hope they burn in hell in jail. And I'm out.